Hi, I'm Martin Pierce from C2S, and I'm going to show you our advanced invoice processing project using ABBYY FlexiCapture 11 for invoices. So this is FlexiCapture. We've got many videos showing different kind of exports into Sage and other account systems like Xero, but what we're going to focus on with this video is looking at the advanced processing, where we're going to look at line items and we're going to look at purchase order matching. So the opening screen of FlexiCapture, which is a Windows program, you've effectively got four things to do here. So the first thing we can do is load some images, i.e. invoices, or if we had a scanner connected and we wanted to scan paper-based invoices, we can just hit the scan button. So if I click load invoices, and I'm going to select 4 images there, or 4 invoices. So what's happened now is it's loaded them, it's going to recognize them, and in a moment we'll see the fields appear at the top here. Okay, so we can see we have 5 invoices. They're all European invoices, so that's the first thing to say is they've matched. We've got 2 which are in the kind of export state. I can see their invoice numbers down here. I can see the order number, the invoice date, and the total net. I've got 3 that are at the verification stage and 2 at export. So what I'm going to do is if I multiple select them, and the first thing I'm going to do is run verification. So what we've got here is the lower line is what's on the page, and the upper line is the interpretation of it. So FlexiCapture is saying, is that 4911? And yes, it is. I'm going to confirm that. Confirm that again, and that's done. So what's happened is that out of the 5, 4 of them are saying they're ready for export, and 1 is at the verification. So let's have a look at the first one anyway. So what we have here, we've got the invoice on the left hand side, and it's at 100%. I can zoom in at 150 if I want to, and then I've got all the kind of fields over on the right hand side. So if I expand that over a little bit, in fact I'll take the zoom back to 100, I've got the business unit, so who has been invoiced. So it could be that you've got multiple companies, multiple entities, and we can load invoices from a whole mixed bag of your companies. In this one here, it's Click to Scan Limited. The vendor is Spielberg Solutions. It's correctly identified that based on things like the postcode and the VAT registration number. Then we've got the invoice number. As I click into that, it appears up here. I've got the invoice date. It's found. The delivery date, there isn't one, but there is a due date on there as well, which is found, which is really good. And this is what I would call headline information. So if I go down here now, the full amount is £930.48. And if I expand down into the tax details, this is where we've kind of got the 20% line. We can have a 5% line, so 5% net, 5% tax line, and what the rate is. And we can have 0 rated items up here. So all in all, it's got the tax breakdown perfect. There's no issues with this one. If we expand down further, we can see we've actually got the line item recognized as well. So I've got the order number, I've got the description, I've got the quantity, the unit price, and I can do things like now I can kind of compare with the order number is here. It's recognized it's 8035. If I click details, it's going to pop up that purchase order, kind of like the headline information for that, which is really good. So if you're processing this and you want to compare, you can see that what you've ordered inside that particular purchase order. And if I go down to the line item here, I can either kind of retrieve the different lines. If it was a multiple line invoice, they would all appear up here, and I can sort of tick it to say it's valid, and then that invoice is effectively processed. So there wasn't anything to do with this one, so I can save the changes. If I wanted to export that and put that in the account system, I would just hit the export button now. But of course this software is all about finding the exceptions, finding the kind of difficult ones. If we go into this one, which is saying verification, the status up here is rejected. Check the purchase order number and the amount. So there are no issues anywhere else, but what it's saying is order number 8223, that's not in the database. So if we were to expand that out and click on details, no, we don't have an order number 8223 in the database. So perhaps the supplier has made a mistake, perhaps there's something wrong, so we can investigate it, or we can say, well, we're just going to process it anyway. And if that's the case, I can come up here, I can choose valid, I can give it a reason, say it's all okay. And now if I click the export button here, although it's saying verification still, because it's still got that error, it's ready to be it's valid. I can export it if I want to. Well, the other two here are perfectly okay. They're all saying valid, but I've got one that's saying exception here. So let's have a look at that. This is a strange one we have here. It's saying exception. If I look along the line, I can see that total net is 0, which looks a bit strange. If I go into it, it's saying for given precision, the numbers are different. What I think that means is that if we drag down here, is that actually the VAT there and the net amount don't add up correctly. They're wrong. It should be 23304. So FlexiCapture can be used to protect you as well from making sure that not only are you not paying the same invoice twice, but also that the numbers on the page are right. So in this instance, we would just have to override it, or the user could be required to override it. But I think what it proves is that you can't post dodgy data into your account system. The system is designed to be very kind of flexible wherever possible, but also incredibly resilient and robust to make sure that only valid details can be exported. So if I wanted to post these into the account system now, I could multiple select, say, the top 4, hit the export button, and my job will be done. It'll be exported. So hopefully that's useful, gives you an overview of where we are now with FlexiCapture, with the line items and the purchase order matching. Thanks for watching.